Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Chasing Meet Cutes podcast. I'm your host, Nicole.
And I'm your host, Trisha.
Woo. Welcome back to another one.
Yeah, welcome back. This is our first, daytime recording.
That's true. Yep.
Sesh. So if the lighting looks a little different, it's because we're not recording at night.
Yes.
But it feels good. I feel, energized. We don't have a hot drink today.
I know.
We have, refreshing bevs. I have a Poppy. What do you have?
Mine is a sparkling water and tart cherry juice.
I love our cups, too.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Just a little tidbit about these cups. Yesterday, or the day before, my cousin was over, and I was telling her that I had painted. Previously, I was telling her, oh, yeah, I painted some little glass mugs, and just, with cherries and strawberries, something cute. And so then, she's here, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, look how cute these cups are. She's like, you made those? And I was like, no, not these ones.
Oh, my gosh.
No, she's like, I thought you, saw those cups with, the little divots in the sides and then, made strawberries and put them in there. I was like, no, you're really overestimating my skills. Yeah, and then I pulled out the ones I actually did, and, these are the ones I've done. She's like, okay.
That tracks.
Yeah. But anyways, daytime pod calls for a daytime bev.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I have a good icebreaker for today, and I didn't tell you about it, so
yikes.
Okay, this is going to be a true
I like
icebreaker.
to be prepared, so.
I know, but but then I'm thinking, that's not a true icebreaker.
I know.
Okay. The question is, what's a meet cute idea that hasn't been done but totally should be?
A meet cute that hasn't been done.
I was like, ooh, I like that because, coffee shop meet is so
right
used or done before.
Yeah. A meet cute. What about I'm thinking some sort of sports game, where the meet cute happens there.
True.
Not that they have already met and they go on a date to a game.
No, I just read a book like that. Remember I was telling you about the one with the kiss cam? And the girl's on a date with somebody else, and it's a horrible Hinge date gone wrong. Mm-hmm. And the guy sitting next to her, they're sharing an armrest, and they kind of banter back and forth about that for a second. And the date is going so bad that the guy can tell because this other dude is just obnoxious, and he leaves to go get whatever. And the kiss cam pans on the girl and the stranger.
Interessante.
And it keeps coming back, to the point where they're like, should we just kiss? Because they're relentless.
Yeah.
They do. And then it's their whole story unfolds. I'm like, that was their meet cute. They had one night of hanging out together. Mm-hmm. Nothing even physical, but just a connection. And then it's the main part of the book is just how they meet again in life and their whole story.
I don't remember you telling me that.
Oh.
You could have for sure.
It was an audiobook that I listened to on, I don't know, a while back, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
But I haven't seen a movie like that.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, if I'm at a Detroit Lions game in Ford Field for the first time ever, I don't know, that'd be cool.
That would be cool. I like that idea.
What do you think? What's yours?
There's so many, to say that it hasn't been done, I'm like,
I know, that's
I'm sure
tough.
someone can be actually that has been, and it's in this. But
it's this obscure movie that
nobody's seen. I'm trying to think of something that would be so random.
Yeah.
Or it would be cute, and I'm sure it's been done before, but if I was shopping, we're getting ready to move, and we just talked about we hope that we have some sort of outdoor space where we can plant flowers and stuff, or a garden. I'm like, wouldn't it be cute if you went to a nursery or a garden center of some sort, not a Home Depot, Lowe's, because they'll put anybody in those gardens.
Yeah, no, it has to be it
has to be a mom and pop shop.
The one in Savannah, you might remember it. It's on your way to Bonaventure / Wormslow, there's the one on the side of the road that's So super cute. I just saw it again when I was there.
Okay,
Maybe you don't remember, but yeah,
I'm sure I would if I was there. But yeah, something like that where like I'm there and I don't have all the knowledge yet, and I'm just like asking the person a question, or I'm there asking the person a question, and another shopper who owns a farm down the road is there. And he's a regular, and he's like, "Hey,
let me help you.
I don't mind. I don't like want to interrupt, but like." Here's what you should do.
Yeah, that's good.
Wait, that would be cute.
That would be cute.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do that when we move.
Yeah,
we're not going to Lowe's or Home Depot.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyways, what movie are we talking about today?
We're talking about Hitch. Such a good one. So funny.
Again, another one from that classic era where
I haven't seen this one in a long time. I feel like I was laughing out loud the whole time.
No, it was.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I mean, first of all, Will Smith and Kevin James together are just comedy gold.
Epic.
Honestly, Kevin James in anything.
Oh yeah.
I am his biggest fan. I think he's so hilarious. Like he just nails the physical comedy component. Like he's just willing. Even him like spilling the coffee all over the desk.
Yeah.
Like. I saw him on the Jimmy Fallon show like a couple years ago, and one of the games that Jimmy planned was they both had to do a physical comedy scene or skit with an office water cooler scenario where like somehow you end up spilling the whole water cooler contents on the ground and falling and slipping. And it was just, he's just so funny. Like, I don't know. He's genius. But yes. They're both great in this movie together. Yeah.
Give us a sum.
Okay.
Before you take a drink.
Before I take a sip. Okay. So we have Hitch. This was 2005, by the way.
Wow. 20 years ago.
20 years ago. Hitch follows Alex Hitchens, Will Smith, a smooth and charismatic dating consultant who helps men win over the women of their dreams while keeping his own love life casual. However, his methods are challenged when he falls for the sharp and independent journalist Sarah Milas, played by Eva Mendes, who is unknowingly investigating one of his clients. As Hitch navigates the chaos of love and misunderstandings, he learns that even the best dating advice can't replace genuine connection and authenticity. Great sum.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, so let's talk about Alex and Sarah.
Okay. So obviously Alex is quote unquote the date doctor.
He doesn't call himself.
That's not himself.
That.
Yeah, that's what everyone else refers to him as. But anyway, and Sarah, like we said, is a journalist for the gossip column at what is it called, The Standard or something like that. Anyway, she is like, I don't know. I feel like she's just like uninterested in general, like dating.
She's just like consumed with her work. Like at one point, she's apparently supposed to be on vacation or having time off, and everyone, including her boss in the office, is like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah,
like you need to go.
Yeah,
she just can't. She just can't like unlock her mind from her job. And that includes dating,
which we see so often in these movies. But anyway, so can I jump to like their meet cute?
Do it.
So their quote unquote meet cute is Hitch is at this bar, and so is Sarah. She's, I don't know, there after work or writing a piece on something. But there's this total loser guy that brings her a drink to the little table she's sitting at. And he's like,
ew.
He's gross. He's so cringy. Like everything he's saying is such like, it's so curated and like scripted.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how many girls are you using that on, and how often does it work? Because if it works, that's problematic. But anyway,
he was ugly.
Yeah, he was not
like
cute.
You got to be cute if you're gonna attempt to like do a ploy like that.
Yeah, and mind you, Alex Hitch was on his way to give her or get her a drink when this guy kind of like beat him to the table. And so he kind of just like holds off for a minute with the drinks, and he's listening to the conversation and taking in everything that she's saying and everything that he's saying. But then he like interrupts by like tapping the guy on the shoulder, and it's like, oh, hey honey, like cab's almost here. Are you ready to go? And which I thought was like so smooth. I'm like, wow, that was pretty good.
And she even said like, he kind of gave her a look and was like, how did the meeting go or something? And then she's like, oh, there was a beginning, middle, and an end. And then the guy's just like, okay, this is my cue to go.
Yeah. So the weirdo guy leaves, and then Hitch just sits down, and they have this like back and forth, which is like kind of funny, but
they're both very similar in personality as far as like being headstrong, confident individuals.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting because usually
that's
usually,
like
I feel like we usually see more of the opposites attract thing there, where like one of them's super shy or timid and the other one's super confident. And this is like, they're not even like butting heads and like
no, but normally
negative.
like that would cause you to butt heads,
right? And I think in a way it kind of did, because they're both just like I don't know, like she was just fighting it so hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but he just puts himself on her radar. I think that was all he really wanted to do at that point, was just get himself on her radar.
He found out her name.
Yep.
Where she worked. That's about it.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and this is in New York City, by the way, if we didn't say that, right?
We did not say that, but it is, yes.
So, the city is hustling and bustling. There's a lot of people in the city, okay?
Woof.
But he decides that he needs to, like, track her down. And I thought, I don't know, this is, I feel like, the art of dating that is lost.
Yes.
At this point in time. Not maybe completely, but, like, he fits the if he wanted to, he would thing that's going around, because he literally like sends this
like the
walkie-talkie with a bike messenger to her office and communicates with her over that.
Like, which was so funny. And like,
excuse me. Yeah, just to like set up a date.
Yeah, just to ask her out, because obviously he didn't get her phone number or anything like that. So he's like, well, this is another way I can get in touch with her.
Thought that was super cute.
That was very cute.
And even like everyone in her office was like, okay, who is this?
Yeah,
like,
who is
you
this?
You better pursue
Yeah, they're
this.
like listening in like so close.
And you can tell like she wants to act like she doesn't really like it, but come on.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? I mean, ultimately she finally agrees to do breakfast, because he was like, okay, if you won't do dinner, you won't do lunch, like, will you do breakfast? Because like you can hardly consider that a date, like if that's what's like weirding you out about it. So she finally agrees.
He definitely was pursuing her. Like he wasn't giving up easily.
No.
And not in like a creepy way, like I said I'm uninterested. Like
like the one, like the guy at the bar, like
banner.
She kept saying, like, she literally said, I'm just not interested. And he was like taking that as like a challenge, and she's like, no, buddy, that's not what this is.
Yeah, no, I think he was picking up like the playful banter of it, which made him feel like I can push this a little, like without being weird or creepy or like, okay, chill, dude,
chill.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't stalker vibes. So let's just talk about their first date, since we're talking about them as a couple. She felt like there were so many fails on this first date, and while there may have been some little hiccups, if you will, I still thought it was like a good first date.
Me too.
Memorable, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And I remembered, okay, so when they do the little like jet ski sea-doo thing, whatever they had, and hers dies, and his dies, and he has to get on hers and swings his leg over and kicks her in the head off the thing. I'm like, I remember that from the preview of this movie, and it's just so funny. Like those are the little things that are comedy gold, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I was also cracking up at her little blue sunglasses.
I know. They're like this so big.
And blue lenses. Like they were dark blue lenses. But yeah, so they ride. Where do they
to Ellis Island.
Yeah.
They went to Ellis Island, and because obviously there's a ton of history with Ellis Island and people like immigrating through Ellis Island.
I would love to do that.
I know.
Because I had family come through Ellis Island. So I would want to go and like see their names.
Yeah,
and, like,
that would be so cool. Yeah, it was cool. But he has this like relationship with the security guard there, who
Which is
like
so funny
it
and
is
random.
funny. It is funny. But anyway, they like set up this whole thing, this tour with him, and there's this book of signatures of people who came through, and Hitch had already like set this up to where it would be turned to the page where one of her, I think it was her great grandfather or great great grandfather, his signature was on. So they're kind of just like looking at each other, like waiting for her to see it, and they're like, "Come on!"
And the music during that moment was like so serious, and even
Yeah,
Will and the security guard are looking at each other like, this is so impactful. Like,
yeah. So she sees the name, and she just like has this weird meltdown. Like
yeah,
it was weird, right?
it was.
I'm like,
Did
I don't think I would react like that.
did she ever really expand on why?
I don't think so, because she just was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's my great great grandfather's signature, like it's right there." And like, I don't know, she literally just is like blubbering and runs away. But I don't think she really expanded on why
I was
she
like, is
had
this like a
that
Coco moment
much of a reaction.
where like the family resents the great grandfather for some unknown reason and it triggered her? But like she didn't really expand.
No, she didn't.
So yeah, I don't know. And then she just had to like walk off. Like it was not like the moment he was
Yeah, he was like, "Wow, I
expecting.
really didn't see that going that way in my mind."
Right.
I mean, who could have really?
Right. And then we see them back kind of like in the city saying their goodbyes. He's I don't know. I don't know what he was asking her.
When?
Like when his shirt got caught in the taxi cab.
Oh, he just was like saying goodbye, like putting her in the cab, and
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Which even that was just funny. Like he
it
just
was.
felt like, okay, well
This is just another thing.
this didn't go how I thought today was going to go because he's
Yeah.
Mr. Smooth Talk. At this point, we do see Alex like a flashback of him in college explaining why he feels so passionate about helping guys that are mostly like nerds or socially
Like the
awkward.
underdog.
Right. Because that was him.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with this girl who ultimately broke his heart and it like wrecked him. And so
Yeah.
he worked at becoming this confident man and learning how to navigate dating and relationships to set these guys up, to teach them how to like be more confident or find out what this woman's interests are and like meet
what's
her where she's at.
appropriate and what's not.
Exactly. Yeah. Like what's going to weird her out and what's going to make her like fawn over you.
Yeah.
And so that whole concept of what he does is honestly really sweet. It's not
I
like
agree.
I was like, sure, there's an element of what he does that's secretive from the woman. Like she doesn't know she's being set up, essentially.
Right.
Like she's not a willing participant in this matchmaking service.
Right.
It's supposed to be like he what's the word I'm looking for? Curates the meet cute.
Right.
Which again, I'm like, okay, would we say that's like ethically or morally wrong?
No.
Okay. I don't think so
so.
either, but I could see where like if a girl found out like, wait a second, like this guy's been telling you what to do, all these nice things didn't come from your brain, it came from this other dude. Like I could see where that might be like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I would have a lot of questions. Like I wouldn't just be like, no worries. I'd be like, we need to. I think ultimately it would still be fine because
well, some
at some
people
point
just
he cuts it off. It's
Yeah.
not like he's like guiding them through their once they become
Right.
like in a committed relationship. It's like he's just trying to get them to get to the dating part.
Right. Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. Obviously, we find out later that a lot of people in the movie do have a problem with it at some point.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with it cuz like let's be honest, some of these guys like need the help.
They do.
They need the guidance and like what is like normal to do. and
or just
what's like
even,
normal
what
behavior.
to
And
do
it's not like
at all.
it's not like changing your entire personality really to like
No.
fit what this girl is gonna like. But sometimes people need help with their social cues.
Yeah.
And that's how I see him. That's what he's doing.
It's
in my
basically
opinion.
like a love on the spectrum situation, but these men just aren't on the
Are
spectrum.
not on the spectrum, yeah.
But they still require the social guidance to date women.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's just details on who Alex is, because I think that plays a big part in even him dating or trying to date Sarah. It's like, wait a second, these tactics that I normally tell these men, they're not always working for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not that he's doing it in like a manipulative way, like I'm just being fake. It's just like sometimes like curating something to be so perfectly thought out isn't gonna work, because you have to just be authentic and real and
right.
you know, be yourself. But they do eventually go on a second date, and that's at
the cooking
class or
something. It's like a cooking class and like a tasting situation.
And she invited him, right?
Yeah, and her boss.
Yes.
Like
it was a double date.
Invited. Yeah.
But that didn't really go great.
It did not.
Once again, they had a hiccup.
Yeah.
Or we should say he had an allergic
reaction to whatever. I think it was some sort of shell. That's
shellfish is hard to say. So you want to say like
selfish
or
shellfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
scramps.
I thought that whole thing was so funny, but also cute that she like was concerned.
Yeah,
and she went with him to the little bodega to get. It wasn't really a bodega; it was an actual store. But anyway, to get the Benadryl, and
the fact that he was just using a straw
in it, like a juice. He literally was like calling it a juice box. Wow. Yeah, and so he just was drunk on Benadryl.
Yeah, but his face did come down some.
Come back, yeah.
But that whole exchange, like, even though he was drunk on the Benadryl, he was zooted. Their exchange was kind of funny and just cute as they were walking back to her apartment. And even once they got to her apartment, you know, they're just kind of both laying there, and he's kind of in and out of like wanting to fall asleep and not, but they're like, he's asking her questions about her family, and she's telling him about her sister, and just, you know, how she had a sister that got in an accident or something.
She like she fell through the ice or something and almost died. So like she's like very protective of her little sister. And
right. So it was just kind of, I mean, for the first time, even though they've met several times up to this point, this is the first time they're really like actually sharing some real life conversation details
about themselves.
Right. And okay, so I thought the morning after that was so sweet.
Me too.
Where like she wakes up and he's not there, and she's kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
She's like, where is he?
That was honestly really funny.
Yeah.
She's like face down in her pillow, like, what was I doing? What was I thinking?
She's punching.
And he just walks in, is like, should I come back another time or?
Yeah, and I just like thought, okay, yes, he did leave, but only to go get breakfast, and he came back with 4 different drinks because he didn't know what her morning drink was, and also whatever breakfast selection he came up with. And you know, she goes over and quickly fixes herself up in the mirror to look good for him. And as they're leaving to go to work, they like share their first kiss just right there in the street. And I thought it was just such a cute moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just was nice to see, not like, even some of the older ones can be like, okay, the meet cute is like a one night stand.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't see any sexual scenes at all in this movie with either couple. And I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. And look.
It works out.
It works out. And even if maybe it's like the understanding that there has been some sex happening within these, like, that's not the focus.
Right.
The focus is on real connection and conversation and like shared interests, compatibility, and all the things. So I don't know, I just thought that was cute. Also
Yeah.
loved her outfit in that
I know.
scene with like the little like pencil skirt, sweater vest,
Yeah,
button up.
it was cute.
Underneath. Very 2005, but you know that's making its way back. I
It
think
is.
pencil skirts are in again.
Probably.
I don't have one, but
Me neither.
I don't really have a reason to wear a pencil skirt at this point in my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you have after that?
I have the conflict after that.
Yeah, well, I think I just wrote down Sarah is finding out about the date doctor because at this point I don't think she's yet investigating him. It's not until her friend, like that morning, she meets up with her friend and her friend's like upset because she went out on this date.
Yeah.
And that guy reveals that he was like using the date or consulting this date doctor. And
yeah. So she's
they
like wanting to
become
find out who is
fascinated.
this
Right,
guy?
who
Who
is
is this date doctor guy? But yeah, ultimately she does find out that it's him, Hitch, that she's
right.
been
they
seeing.
basically set up a fake date. He sees through it as soon as he talks to the guy.
Yeah,
Because
and he sees the camera and he's like, something's not right.
Yeah. And she's upset.
like so upset about it, which is like frustrating.
You know what I said? Was that for this movie or a different movie where I was like, you know who wouldn't be upset with this? Noah from Nobody Wants This.
Yeah, was that this movie?
It might have been a different.
I think it was one of the ones we were watching yesterday. That wasn't Hitch.
Right. It stands true for like any of these movies that glorify this lack of communication as the main
because she
source of
just
conflict.
was like going off of one. She was going off of one side of a story.
And she didn't even want to hear from him.
No, she didn't even ask really any questions
and
whatsoever.
Like,
it just was
so
all based on an assumption. And it's like, we can't be doing that.
No, we can't be doing that. But you know what? We see what happens when you do that. And sometimes you end up looking like a dope.
Yeah.
A big old dope.
A big old dope.
Yeah. But she kind of wants to... So he didn't see her there. So at this point... Hitch doesn't know that Sarah saw him at the zoo thing.
Yeah.
So she still goes over to his house for dinner that night and kind of like pretends as though things are fine. Although she such a jerk about it. She walks in and is just like so snotty. Like he had this Spanish bottle of wine and she's like making light of it.
Spanish wine.
Yeah. Ugh. She's just being a jerk.
Yeah, she really was.
And he's like, did you have a bad day?
Yeah, like what's going on?
What? Yeah, this is not anywhere near the version of you that I've met before. So, like, what is this?
And to him, it's like, he didn't do anything wrong. And he didn't.
No.
He's not done anything wrong. And, like, he's just, like, this is supposed to just be, like, a normal dinner date at his house. And for some reason, she's just, like...
Totally at any point, did he tell her what his job is?
No. Well,
like, did he say like, "Oh, I'm a consultant" or something general? So that's because I would think that like from her perspective, she's like, "You didn't tell me that you're like a matchmaker or this job." But I'm thinking
he did say he was a consultant.
He said he's a consultant.
He didn't elaborate on it when because it was when they were doing the cooking class. Like her boss asked about it. And he like gave some sort of like answer, but it was not. It still wasn't like fully like, what he does exactly.
But he kind of introduces it in the beginning, saying that like this is on the DL,
right? Like
he only operates. There is no marketing for this. He is not the face of some big company. Like he is. On a referral base only. Like, he does not want this to be out there. Not because he's ashamed of it, because it may not work anymore. Right. So I bring all that up to say, like, at least he said, it wasn't like he lied to her. He said, I'm a consultant. But also, like, you guys are just dating. You've been on 2 dates. You don't owe your entire life's story and career to somebody in this moment if you're like, I don't even know if I can trust this person yet. Like, I'm still testing out the waters here. Yeah. So she definitely jumps to conclusions.
Yeah.
And kind of like throws it in his face there at some point at his house. And they go back and forth and they're arguing and they're throwing salad.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
That was funny.
and she storms off and leaves. But he still doesn't know that the article has been written about him.
Yeah.
He just thinks that she found out. And he does end up seeing it the next day.
Yeah.
And that would have to suck.
For sure.
Because this secret thing you've been able to do is now out in the open. And, like, he may not have a job anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And the way that it's been written is the only reason I think people don't agree with it. Like we were saying earlier, it's like, yeah, most people don't agree with it, but that's because they weren't actually told the full story of what he actually does.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was the one story of Sarah's friend going on the date with the guy who he did
Vance.
go to a meeting with for you know, his services.
Right.
But he gets to this meeting with the guy, Vance, and he just kind of hears how Vance is talking about women, and he's like, I don't help people like you. Like, I help people who actually like women. Like, you're just a jerk, and like, you're just looking to hook up. And like that, he's like, that's not what I do. And there's this whole exchange, and he leaves. He doesn't work with the guy. But this guy still ends up going on a date because he's free to do so. Right. Like, it's not, you know, he doesn't have to have the approval of Hitch to do whatever he wants. Like, he's an adult. Anyway, he still goes on this date, and it's like a disaster, and he's such a jerk to the friend. Yeah. And so they think it's his fault. Yeah. And it's obviously not, but that's how the article is written. Right. That's what everybody thinks, is that he's setting up these guys just to, like, hook up with women. Right.
So we see the speed dating episode. The speed dating scene. And, you know, he's kind of confronting her about it. That's why he shows up. Right. And they're going back and forth. And again, she's just slinging these statements at him as if she's some, like, truth warrior. And you're like, you don't know what you're talking about. Right. And I was like, ooh, she's making herself look real stupid.
Really dumb. Yeah.
And then...
And she just doubles down.
She really does. And she thinks, like, she's like, I don't know, like, Wonder Woman, girl power.
Yeah, like social justice warrior.
You. Yeah. Like, this is, like, toxic masculinity. Like, you're trying to set these women up just to be with players. And, like, that's horrible. And he says whatever he says. But it wasn't until he walked away that he turned around and was like, and by the way, I refused to work with that guy because he was an idiot or a jerk or whatever. And like, you just see her face kind of,
it's like,
oh shoot.
Yeah, she's like, it's almost like she wants to double down again, but she's like, okay, like coming down from it. And then like,
yeah, because you can see, like, when she's starting to get emotional, she's like, can you even believe that guy? Like, like you're saying, she wants to still be like, I'm in the right, but she knows better. And her friend's like, actually, yeah, I can believe that guy. Right. And now she's just like, sad girl. Because you screwed the pooch on that one.
Sorry, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of just, like, shuts her out completely for a bit there.
He does. And he's trying to, like, because he's like, I, you know, could just have lost my job. Like, whatever. And then I think we should transition to talk about Allegra and Albert, because that's kind of where we see Hitch put some of his focus at that point in the movie. Yeah. But this whole time of him dating Sarah, we see the relationship that he has with his current client, Albert. And we get a glimpse into exactly what he does and how he works with these guys. And it's really like, it's like he spends time with these guys. Yeah. Like, he gets to know them. It's not like, follow my curated, like, I mean, he does have like his basic principles that he goes through, but they're tailored to these guys as individuals. Right. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like a one size fits all.
And it's not like a come into my office for a single consultation. I'll create a meet cute and you'll be on your way. Yeah. He's spending time with these guys. So, okay, let's just talk about Albert a little bit.
Okay. He's such a goofball. He really is such a goofball.
He's a mess.
He's a mess. He's awkward. He has asthma. Like,
he's awkward and he has asthma.
He does have asthma.
He does have asthma. He's got his little inhaler with him all the time.
Yeah, but like, originally or Allegra is one of, I don't, would you call her his boss? I don't think so, because she's kind of just like somebody who
she's really their client.
Yeah, he works like at this finance firm who like manages.
Yeah, he's like a tax
money
guy.
Accountant, CPA, whatever. That's sort of his thing. But she is like pitching this idea to a bunch of these finance guys at the table, Albert being one of them, and she like says she wants to take this certain risk on whatever,
her best friend's business or something.
Yeah. And everyone's like, no, no, no. And he just like takes this risk at the advice of Hitch. And he's like, no. He stands up and he's like, no, if that's what you want to do with your money, like, then I think that's what you should do. Like, if you
like, you don't need us to make the decision for you,
right? Like, you're the one calling the shots. Like, if that's what you want to do, you think it's a good idea, like, you know, you've done this sort of thing before, like, you're not
like, if you want to invest $500,000 in your best friend's company, that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah,
we're just here to help organize it all,
right? So she's kind of like, oh, like, wow, you know, surprised that like somebody stood up for her like that. But he like goes back to his office and is like,
because he quit.
Yeah, he quits. He does quit. But he like is in this full panic mode because Hitch is back in the office, and he's genuinely just having a meltdown, and it's so funny. But she shows up to his office door and wants to like meet with him, but it's like, it's just funny because Hitch is behind the door, like kind of guiding him on what to say, because he's just like speechless. Again, like, I don't see why people have a problem with that, with him being like, okay, close your mouth.
Yeah, here's a pen.
Here's a pen.
She's asking for a pen.
Say yes. Say no. Whatever it is. Like, he didn't have words, so like Hitch was kind of just helping him there.
So that was kind of like Albert's in with Allegra.
Yeah, he got her number.
They're going to set up this meeting to go over the financials of whatever she's wanting to do.
Yeah. It's not a date, just a meeting.
Right. And so then, yeah, that's where Hitch kind of starts in on these basic principles of like how he should behave, how he should act, things he should do when they're at this meeting or at this date. And so like down to like how to dance, like what's cool dance moves and what's not.
Don't do that.
Like what to eat, what not to eat. Like, because he sees that he's a sloppy guy. Like we saw at their meet cute.
Oh my gosh.
Their meet cute. At their first meeting on the stairs, like he was eating his lunch, and he had like mustard or something like on the tip of his nose. He's a mess. Like he's just he needs
the guidance.
He did need the guidance, and I think right from the get go, Allegra did find him to be cute.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, he's like a hottie. Right. But she was like, I think she found him to be very endearing.
Yes.
You know, like, aw. Yeah, I don't know what you have written down first. I mean, of course,
I just had like
club,
the fashion event thing.
Yeah, and they just ended up dancing together, and they both were just dancing kind of crazy. Like
when she would turn around, he would just like let loose and want to do his dance moves.
Yeah, even though,
which was funny because there were so many paparazzi like taking photos, so there is photo evidence of him doing these crazy moves, and Hitch is like,
really?
What is that? What is that?
Yeah, because basically he doesn't listen to anything that Hitch tells him to do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
But like he still lets his freak flag fly, if you will. Like he is still Albert on these dates. And at the basketball game date, you know, he got cheese or mustard or she did.
Yeah,
and
on
then
his shirt.
Yeah, and then she reveals like she's also a messy eater.
Yeah.
She, you know, he whistles. She really always wants to. He teaches her. Now she can whistle. Like,
I thought that was
really
cute.
Bonding.
They are. They're just having fun.
And they're not, like, trying so hard. I can only imagine, like, the men that Allegra has dated because she's very high profile. She's very wealthy. She's extremely beautiful.
Right.
So I'm sure the men that she meets are just constantly trying to play that part.
Yeah.
And you can see that although Albert's trying really hard, it's in a different way.
Yes.
He's trying hard to be himself and not be an idiot. He's not trying to portray himself as like better than what he really
or even
is,
like
or
her
just,
equal or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's just trying to not pass out or throw up
exactly.
on the date.
Or have an asthma attack.
Yeah. But I think the cutest another one of the classic scenes is when he walks her back to her house. And she's jingling her keys, which is the sign fumbling. that Hitch told him that like she probably wants you to kiss her if she is fumbling with her keys at the end of the date. And how to go like 90 10. You go 90, let her come the other 10. Perfect recipe for a kiss.
Yeah.
Well, he just gets in his head.
Yeah.
And he walks away. He's like, great time.
He's got to get his inhaler.
Yep. He's walking away. He takes a couple puffs. And he's like, wait a second. I can't let this go by.
Yeah.
She was fumbling. And she's still fumbling.
So, like, hello.
Like, it don't take that long to get into your
No.
brownstone or whatever you're looking at, essentially. And that part was so cute. When he turns around, he's like, Allegra, wait. And he, like, throws
the inhaler.
His inhaler and walks up to her and just, like, puckers up.
Yeah.
With his eyes closed. That's it. It was so funny.
And we were like,
he went about 75, I'd say.
I don't even think that much. I really don't. It was total like I would say he went 10, she went 90.
Yeah, he walks up and he's like,
and no, literally, and that's it. And then she went the rest of the way. I'm like, that is not what we talked about.
But in that moment, his eyes are closed. He's puckering, and like she just like looks at him and smiles. Like she's not grossed out, or weirded out. Like that would most likely be an ick. For most.
Yeah.
But she again finds it to be so endearing, and they share their first kiss.
Yeah.
And that's kind of shortly before everything blows up for Hitch.
Yeah.
So then obviously Allegra finds out that Albert's been
coached by
Hitch, and so I think she walks away as well.
She's kind of turned off by the whole thing, and of course because she thinks that Albert has turned himself into this completely different person
or just had an ulterior motive, like trying to take advantage of her or whatever. And it's like none of these guys are trying to take advantage of women. They just wanted a chance to be with a woman because these were men that most women would just immediately overlook. And he just wants to help the underdog. Like
exactly. Yeah.
So Hitch then tries to make it his mission to clear those things up, specifically for Albert and Allegra.
Yeah, yeah.
And we see him go to the yacht or follow Allegra to her yacht and have this conversation with her like, hey, just so you know, like, Albert is, like, in love with you. Like, he really wants to be with you. And she's just questioning, like, but didn't you do this and that? And
he's like no, I didn't. He's like, I would never. He's like, I would never tell him to do that. Like, no way.
Exactly.
And he's like, that's all Albert. Like, 100%.
In fact, I did nothing.
Yeah, he's like I'm realizing, like, I didn't do any of this.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So she's kind of like, oh my gosh.
Yep. But in this moment where she's kind of coming to that realization, like, okay, like, I want to then, like, find Albert. And so they hug it out, like, as, like, a friendly hug, like, thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah.
And Albert happens to see them and freaks out. I was like, are you kidding? Like, this is your plan all along, and to steal Allegra from me and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no. And he's already, like, tackled him. He's choking
he's just
him.
seeing red. He just, like, can't.
Yeah. And everyone's like, stop. He came here for you. He came here to help you. And he's like, wait, really? He did? And, like,
he's like, who did? It's like,
Hitch is
the
like,
guy you're choking.
And so Allegra and Albert make up, and they're together again.
Yeah.
And that's all patched up. But yes, we still see Hitch has not patched things up with Sarah yet.
Yeah, because he, like we said, she went to him to apologize, and he was like, nope, I'm not interested in your apology. Like, I don't need your apology. You didn't hurt me, whatever.
In fact, when she walks up to him, his first comment is no comment.
Yeah, because he's like, oh,
I'm not going to be another, like piece of work
Yeah.
for you.
I mean, after like the whole him repairing the Albert and Allegra thing, he like kind of comes to his senses as far as Sarah goes. So he goes to her apartment and knocks on the door and like just tells her like, no, I want you. That's what I want. And of course we see this whole thing of this other guy in her apartment, like, you know, come from the background, and he's just like kind of taken aback by that. But it was funny because it doesn't even really faze him truly, because he like, I don't know, they go downstairs, get in her car, because like she lets him believe that like this is her new man.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it's fine. And he's like, well, what if fine isn't good enough?
Like, so she gets in
extraordinary.
Yeah. As they're like in the car, he kind of just stops it, and like the sunroof is open, so they're just talking, or he's talking to them through the sunroof, and he's like, look, I don't know who this guy is, and like I don't really care, but like I don't know, he just obviously wants to repair what he has with her. Like he doesn't really care about whoever this rando dude is.
Right.
Turns out it's just her brother-in-law. But which I thought was funny.
That was cute.
I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yep.
That was.
Yeah, we see her sister standing off to the side, like after that moment of realization, and he's like, oh, your sister and your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And he gives, you know, his final speech there when she finally gets out of the car, and they share their, you know, end scene kiss.
Yeah, exchange I love yous.
Yeah. And it cuts to the credits, but also Albert and Allegra's wedding.
Yeah.
And the dance.
More movies need to do this with the rolling credits.
Truly.
It's such a lost art.
Yeah, and it's like nobody wants to sit for 7 minutes of credits unless there's like a scene going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
that was a fun scene.
That really was.
Of just them dancing.
I think we referenced that like when we were talking about Guess Who.
Oh, yeah.
How like they also kind of had like an ending wedding reception dance off.
Yeah.
Like credit run, and we're like, this is so fun.
It is. We need more.
And it was cute too, because at the very end, like Hitch is talking, and he's like, "Basic principles, there are none," and that's kind of how it ended. But
yeah,
it was just such a good. I don't know. It was a good dose of perspective for people to be like, don't forget about the little guys.
Yeah.
And maybe they're physically little, like short kings, or maybe they're just nerdy, or maybe they're socially weird.
Yeah.
But, like, give them a chance.
It's funny. I'm just looking at you because, like...
we don't give anyone
We don't give people chances, and
it's not that because we don't want... Like, I think they're horrible people. Right. It's just, like...
We're just, like, not even willing to go there at all, in general. It's bad. Our friends don't like it, but
I need a Hitch in my life. Like, I need someone like Hitch to be working with me.
Yeah, but like not even
setting it up.
Yeah, not just like a random. Yeah, it would have to be someone like Hitch, like who's gonna do the research on the person before like they even set you up.
Oh yeah, like a Patty Stanger, you know.
Yeah,
but way different.
Yeah, I'm like
not obviously with her and like what she thinks, but like, you know. She's vetting people. She's considering compatibilities and things like that. I don't know. I think the whole idea of being like using a matchmaking service sounds good in theory, but it's kind of scary.
Totally. I would be very hesitant.
Yeah.
Very. I'm like, if one of my friends wants to play matchmaker.
If we're both coming from a matchmaking service and it's not just like complete randos.
Yeah.
At least you kind of know that the other person has been somewhat vetted, and they're also like looking for someone if they're using a matchmaking service potentially. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's still scary.
It is scary.
Yeah. Maybe we should start a matchmaking service.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't want to do
that. Okay, fine. We won't.
No.
Okay, anyway. That was Hitch, you guys. Let us know. I don't know what even to tell you guys to comment on this one. Just
What
you
is
use
your
a matchmaking
opinion?
service?
Yeah, and what is your opinion on what Hitch does? Like, we don't see a problem with it, but do you?
I don't see a problem with it in the context of this story and knowing exactly how he was doing it and the why behind it.
Yeah.
Also, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole meet cutes that have never been done before that you want to see?
Yeah.
Are you down with the garden center meetup? Are you like wanting to be like bump into someone at a sporting event?
Tell us.
Which meet cute are you wanting to see?
Yeah.
But thanks again for listening and watching and sharing and subscribing and liking and all the things.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And we love you guys.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.